Welcome to the Stress Free Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Block. As always, I want to inspire, entertain, and educate you on the best tools and technologies out there. My goal is to help make your practice and career more profitable, efficient, and most importantly, more enjoyable. And check out all of my nonfiction and children's books on Amazon, and check out the stressfreedentist.com for any upcoming events. And if you're feeling you're a dental professional that's burnt out, or you just feel stuck or want to get to that next level, visit the International Academy of Dental Life Coaches or www.iadlc.com, and we'll get you matched up with a life coach that understands dentistry. I also wanted to thank our amazing sponsor, Equa Marketing. They have helped me and my practice over the years to improve with SEO and website performance. And to find out how you can make your practice dominate in your area, go to www.equa.com/MSMSFD to book your complimentary meeting. Again, that's www.ekwa.com/MSMSFD. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. And we are joined by recurring guest, Naren Arulrajah, who's the CEO of Equa Marketing. Naren, thanks for joining us again.
Hey, I'm really looking forward to this conversation, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and this is a big topic. We're going to be talking about how to keep your new patient schedule consistently full. So, Naren, let's dive into what are some of the most effective strategies to, first of all, attract new patients and keep your schedule full with new patients?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. When it comes to new patients, historically, most practices have relied on PPO plans as their new patient source, right? You sign up for a PPO plan, they'll keep you busy. But the problem is, what kind of busy? Is it the right kind of busy that's helping you succeed and helping your practice thrive? Or is it the wrong kind of busy, right? Most practices that have been dependent on PPO plans tell us for every patient they see, they are spending $2,000 in acquiring that patient. Let me explain. Let's say you get a patient and they do $1,000 worth of dentistry, meaning you get paid for $1,000 worth of dentistry, but you really have to do $1,500 worth of dentistry because of the fee control and the fee adjustments. So that means you're losing $500 a patient in that first year you have that patient. Let's say the patient stays there for 5 years. Now you're losing $500 times 5 years, $2,500. So the question is spending $2,500 to acquire a new patient the right strategy for you long term? Eric, you of course said no. You dropped not just one or two PPO plans, but all PPO plans. Right now you are fully fee for service, which means you're not giving up any money to the PPO plans in the form of an adjustment, which means now you don't have to spend $2,500 a new patient like you used to. So I guess step one is to stop wasting money by thinking that PPO plans are your only option. Instead, focusing on other ways to attract and keep new patients. Now, when it comes to other ways, there are lots of different approaches. I think we'll get through them as we go through this conversation.
Yeah, you mentioned the wrong kind of busy. The wrong kind of busy is when you're running around with your head cut off and you're checking 5 hygienists and you've got 2 columns yourself and you're just running around like crazy. And these patients came from PPO plans and they're all getting a 45% discount. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted and you've given up this 45% write-off. To me, the right kind of busy is maybe less busy, actually less craziness, less running around, more quality patients that are coming in, not through the PPO website, but through referrals, through your Google SEO, through your own website, your own existing patients. That, to me, that's the right kind of busy.
Yeah, because you get to keep every dollar, right? Instead of giving up 45% on patient after patient after patient because of the PPO plans.
Yeah, and I know some dentists are concerned about, first of all, there's a fear factor of they think they're going to lose all their patients, all of their insurance participating patients, and that's just not the case as long as you build up good relationships with these patients. I've also heard some other dentists say that they're worried about patients not being able to afford care, or not being able to give, proper care to the public. Um, and we have our own membership plan. We offer financing. You when you're out of network, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to play by the rules of the insurance company. If you want to drop your fees, drop your fees. But you're not tied to this contract. So I say, don't worry about the fear. You're not going to lose all your patients. And if you're worried about patients not affording care, do what you want with the fees, or offer a membership plan and financing. Um, Now, Naren, how do I stand out from dental practices in my area to get new patient appointments?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know you gave how you do it. You talked about you rely on SEO. You talked about an awesome website. I think a good place to start is to kind of understand what are your alternatives to PPO plans. Of course, digital marketing is 95% of how new patients will find you today. And the four buckets are free traffic from Google, which is called search engine optimization, and then free traffic from social media companies like Instagram and TikTok. And then, of course, you can pay money to run ads both on Google as well as on social media company platforms. Now, just high level, social media ads and Google ads are 5 to 10 times more expensive than free traffic. Free traffic, Google versus social media. Google, the good news is somebody else can do it for you. The bad news is only 5% of you will get 95% of the free traffic. So the question is, can you be in that 5% who gets 95% of the free traffic from Google? Now, Google made $307 billion last fiscal year in 2023. Actually, we don't know the 2024 numbers yet. So they don't want to give away free traffic, because if they do, then the number of people paying them the $307 billion would come down. So they make it super hard. So just because you were ranking well last week, you're not going to rank well this week. So the key is not only to get into the top 5%, but to stay there. In my mind, that's the number one way to get free traffic, SEO, because A, somebody else can do it for you, and it gives you an unfair advantage where your cost of a new patient is $50 to $100 versus $2,000 with PPO and versus few $100s with ads. Now, organic social media also is wonderful. You can get a lot of free traffic, but it doesn't work for everyone, because unlike SEO, you have to do it yourself. And what I notice from my experience working with 500 doctors is 1% of doctors get all the free traffic versus 99% don't get free traffic at all. Those are called influencers. And to become an influencer, it'll take 2 to 3 years and 20 plus hours of work. So it can be done as long as you love being an influencer and you're willing to put in 20 plus hours creating tons of content week after week for a few years. So those are the 4 buckets. So I would lean on SEO first. And if you are somebody who likes to be an influencer, then of course I would also lean on social media, free social media. And then once those 2 things are tapped up, then I would focus on ads.
Yeah, we're starting a campaign where we do an employee spotlight, and we're going to focus a staff member, like a staff appreciation, quick little blurb. And we're going to post that on social media. We're going to put it on our website. We like to post silly, fun pictures, post our reviews, set yourself apart from the competition. Show your technology, show your culture. Your staff is happy. Your staff likes being, together. This is how you set yourself apart too. Because patients ultimately are new patients. They're going to look at your reviews. They're going to look at your website. They're going to look at your About Us section, some before and afters. Have all that stuff out there, because these potential patients are ultimately going to want to see if they can know, like, and trust you. Correct?
Yes, you are correct. And I think you want to stand out. And I think you have to give people a reason to come to you. Now, for example, you have so many 5-star reviews, Eric, and you have hundreds and hundreds of those reviews. So you have an awesome practice, but just because you have a great practice doesn't mean people know about it. You need to get the word out. So it could be reviews, it could be cases of the work you have done, highlighting those. It could be video testimonials. So you should definitely lean in on like telling your story. Remember, when you do free dentistry, that's how people think of PPO plans. They'll go to anybody as long as you have a heartbeat, right? They don't really care. But the minute you are no longer just free dentistry, but rather, appreciated dentistry, that they They a lot of times even pay out of pocket or do high value services which are 100% not covered by PPO plans. You want to start telling that story. So allocate a bit of time, whether it's highlighting your team members like you are doing, Eric, or working with patients to bring out those stories, whether it's cases or videos or test Google reviews. Just allocate a bit of time. It's not a lot, maybe a couple of hours a week, just to kind of keep at it, and just make it better and better for you.
So what we're talking about is online visibility, right? I mean, you could stand outside with a megaphone and yell, to everyone how awesome you are. But, in this day and age, you can't really do that. So online visibility, like SEO and Google reviews, when you're out of network and you're no longer, getting patients from that PPO website, those are huge, right? For filling your schedule with new patients.
Yeah. SEO and Google reviews, you are correct, are huge. Google reviews, I recommend everyone listening should try to get at least 10 or more reviews a month. Of course, if you're a practice that is doing more than 2 million, that number could be higher to 15 a month or so. But definitely at the very least 10 or more Google reviews. It's like stable stakes today. 90% of people will not choose you unless you have great Google reviews. What do I mean by great? You're getting 10 or more Google reviews a month. You have hundreds of them, and you have at least 4.5 stars or higher. So work towards it, regardless of where you are. Just 10 a month means in a year, you will have 120 new reviews being added. SEO, like we talked about, find the right company, understand the fundamentals, set some targets. Like the target we set is you want to rank for 100 or more keywords and phrases within 12 months. What I mean by rank, I mean in the top 10 results on Google. So Google Analytics will tell you what are the keywords people are typing in, each keyword, how popular it is, and what's your average rank. So you want to make sure your average rank is in the top 10 or more. And you want to do that for at least 100 or more keywords. Now, Eric, you're ranking for several hundred, I think 370 keywords the last time I checked. So you don't stop at 100, but definitely 100 is a good starting point for anyone to aim to for the first 12 months.
Yeah, ultimately with the keywords, you want to get in the brain of the potential patient, right? So they're going to go to that keyboard and they're going to type in, sleep apnea near me, or sleep apnea dentist, or snoring dentist. Just think of those keywords that a patient may enter, and then hone in on those keywords. If you want to focus in on clear aligners, put clear aligners near me or Invisalign near me, whatever you're doing, and that's what patients are going to be typing in. So that's great stuff. Let's actually talk about if there's any other specific marketing channels or tactics that you recommend to get new patients in the door consistently.
Yeah, so I think SEO is the long game. So the goal is to rank for those 100 keywords within 12 months and then keep building on it. And that's still not enough, right? Just because they go to your website doesn't mean they're going to come and see you. You want to also have good, what we call landing pages. So have, welcoming videos. So if I'm on your sedation page or even implants page, hey, welcome to, my implant section. I'm so glad you're here. Look around, see some of the cases I have done. I've been helping patients with implants for the last 17 years. So look at some of the awards that are featured on this page and call my office. I would love to help you. Just saying hello, welcome, I would love to help you, and just credentialing yourself and asking them to look around and see the cases makes you stand out. You talked about standing out, makes them like you. And who do they do business with? Those that they like. I mean, Dale Carnegie said it. We do business with those we like. So just little things. It's like 2 minutes to do a tiny video. Cases, right? The best picture you want to include is those full face after pictures. So include those full face pictures, especially the after picture, because at the end of the day, the patient is not a dentist. They don't understand the nuances of close-ups. So they want to know, okay, I'm going to spend $20,000, $30,000. How are you helping me change my life? I could go on that vacation, do that kitchen or buy that car that I always wanted to buy, but I'm choosing to spend it instead on my smile. So show them that smile, show them the transformation. This is an area where I feel like doctors can do so much better because they get so caught up on being a dentist. They don't think like the consumer. Consumers, like I said, are not dentists. They didn't go to dental school. They don't understand or appreciate all the things you appreciate when you go and sit in a awesome CE course where they're talking about, technique and exceptional work. They don't really, know or understand or appreciate it. It's not their fault. It's just like you don't understand, what a radiologist does, so you don't understand what a plumber does, right? That's their specialty. They know the nuances. So talk in their language, simple language, simple videos, these full face after pictures. Those are all things you should lean in on, and just set some targets, right? I'm going to do one a month, one a week, whatever it is, and then just make sure it happens. You might even have a champion to support you on this endeavor. So you might say, we're going to do 4 of these in a month. And if you hit it and you're going to be my point person to drive this, you get a small bonus. So before you know it, at the end of the year, 4 times 12, 48 videos, cases have been added to your website. And the beauty is those 48 things are working for you, day in and day out, for the rest of your career. And so the ROI on those are massive.
Yeah, nowadays, and you mentioned the landing page and videos. Nowadays, you could have a decent video with a circle light and an iPhone or a smartphone, right? It doesn't have to be a professionally done video, and maybe it's even better to just have a more low key video where it's not so professionally done with this big production. And for sure, like you said, speak in lay terms so that patient can understand you. But what are your thoughts on the video with just like with your iPhone or a circle light?
Yeah, I think I've seen even movies that are filmed on an iPhone. I think it gives its own authenticity that when it's done where there's a little bit of shakiness and, it's not perfect lighting. Almost like we don't like overproduced anything. Why are influencers so popular? They're not using professional cameras. 99.99% of them use their smartphone in their pocket because it just gives that genuineness. It makes it look real, right? And today we crave for real because everything is produced and curated. So the more real you are, the more authentic you are, the more it's going to resonate. And I think today's cameras are pretty powerful too. I mean, because remember nowadays most of these things are done in the software level. So even like diagnosis, right? You look at AI in dentistry. The reason AI is able to diagnose things so much better is it doesn't need so much details to figure something out because computer will go and do all the fixing and get rid of all the problems and everything else. So you can get really high quality outcomes today with smartphones and like Eric was like you were alluding to, Eric, just making it look real is even more powerful today.
Now, let's say we're doing all this stuff. We have some patients, potential patients calling. We need to convert these patients to get them from the phone to the chair. What would you say is a good system for converting potential patients or inquiries into booked appointments?
Yeah, I think this is so important. Like in Eric's case and all of our clients' case, we listen to calls and we record these calls. So a lot of times we assume, it's that, it's like a cat, like things when it closes its eyes, everything is great. It thinks there's no danger, right? So similarly, we assume just like our reviews are awesome and our team is awesome, our phone experience is awesome. But unlike every other part of your practice, you don't know what's really going on with your phone. With your assistant, how she's talking to patients, how she's being with you. With your hygienist, what's going on because you're in the room, right? But with regards to the phone experience, it's happening where you are not in front of them and you don't listen to the other side of the conversation. You only listen to one person and they're at the front desk. So you have no idea. And this is a huge opportunity and a problem for a lot of practices. The average dental practice today only books 1 out of 3 new patient calls. So you get 100 new patient calls. If you're an average practice, only 33% of them actually end up coming up to your office. The other 66% don't. It's not anybody's fault because nobody focused on it. It's like, imagine you send your kid to school, but the art teacher is absent, so nobody focused on giving the kids assignments and looking at those assignments and giving feedback, versus all the other teachers show up to class. They're the math teacher, science teacher. There is somebody giving them assignments and exams and paying attention. They're going to do well. That class is going to do really, really well in all those places where there is a teacher who's paying attention, versus the art where nobody's paying attention. They just do nothing. The whole year is wasted. They go sideways. Same thing here. You need to know this, but the challenge for practice is they don't know how many new patients are calling. They don't know which of those calls booked and which ones didn't. So make sure your marketing company provides those insights. You need to know how many new patients are calling. You need to be able to listen to those calls. You need to be able to listen to the ones who are booking and those who are not booking. If they are booking, great. Let your patients, let your team keep doing what they're doing. If they are not, you need to intervene. So one of the metrics we track is called conversion rate, which is the percentage of new patients who end up booking. That's your conversion rate. So if you get 100 and you book 60, your conversion rate is 60%. And this will fluctuate month after month. Why? There'll be new team members, the world changes, like we were listening to a practice, they were turning away like 39 emergency patient calls. And nobody knew this because nobody realized this was an issue because, the way the team understood to, put in new patients was different from what the doctor was. Doctor is like, I don't care. Come and talk to me if you have to. Like literally put the patient on hold and talk to one of us and we'll find a way to see the patient. Or just let them come in and we'll figure out a way to accommodate them. And they didn't know this. And all of a sudden they have this insight and they're like, wow, this is mind blowing. And now they make some changes. Or other times it could be like simple training, like, do you take my insurance? If your team doesn't know how to handle that question really well, you're going to miss 9 out of 10 of them. So knowing your conversion rate and tracking this. So we track it monthly and on a quarterly basis, we provide some insights in case it's an issue. Of course, this is key. You want to make sure that you know what your new patient calls are like, and you want to be able to troubleshoot when they are not amazing, meaning 70-80% of them are not booking new patient appointments.
Yeah, this is just gets so much more important when you go out of network too, because, in some cases, if patients are calling because they got your name off of the insurance website, it can be an easier conversion. But when you go out of network, you've got to have your team on board with phone skills. And Naren, one of the things that I've just started doing is checklists. So we have checklists for the team, but we also have checklists for us analyzing the calls. So number one, did the staff member answer the phone within a few rings? Did they have a pleasant demeanor? Did they smile while they were talking? Did it sound like, did they get the important information like the patient's name and date of birth and phone number? And most important, did they invite the patient to come in to become a new patient? Oftentimes you hear calls and that never even happens. And then other things like, did they ask if they have any family members that need to become patients? So we've installed these checklists that just make everything easier for not only for the people that are answering the calls, but for people, the staff that's reviewing the calls, or for yourself if you're reviewing the calls, to make sure that everyone is crushing those phone calls. All right, so let's say my practice is struggling to fill the schedule with new patients. What's the first thing I should look at to fix the issue?
Yeah, I would look at, how many new patient calls am I getting? For that, you need some kind of tracking. Don't ask your patients because all the people your team doesn't book, they don't even count them as new patients. And because it's not, recorded and, in a database somewhere you can go back and check, you don't know what's really going on. So have an objective way to know this. So install some type of tracking where you can go back and, listen or check on what's actually happening. That's one thing I would do. Now, this is not easy, but I would definitely urge everyone listening, you need to know, you need to track, not by asking your receptionist, but by logging into a software system, what's going on. Second is, I would look at how many keywords you're ranking for, assuming SEO is important to you. If you're not ranking for, 100 or more keywords on page 1, based on Google Analytics, what I mean is the top 10 results for 100 or more good keywords and phrases. Again, there's an opportunity there to really lean in and get into the top 5%. So those are two of the places I would start. And the third one is, how many Google reviews are you getting? If you're not getting 10 or more reviews every month, and the way to do that is just go to your Google My Business page, click on the, sort by, date. So you will see the last reviews. And if you can't count 10 in the last 30 days, that means you have work to do. So I would just start leaning in onto this. If you are not doing well with SEO, find why you're not doing well and come up with a game plan and execute on that. If you're not doing with, number of new patients booking, zoom in on what's going on. And perhaps, like you said, checklists, constant training, weekly, monthly monitoring to make sure things are improving. And then finally, if you're not doing well with Google reviews, set a target, 10 a month. make it a team target and then celebrate as a team. So figure out a methodology. Like we're going to talk about it every day. We're going to count the number of new reviews we're getting, and we're going to ask actual patients to write a review. See, unhappy people will write nasty reviews. You don't need to prod them. It's the happy ones who are just busy with life. You just need to ask them at the right time, so they're much more likely to write that review for you.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Naren, what's the best way to get a marketing strategy for dentists that are interested?
Yeah, I would book a marketing strategy meeting with Equa. It's complimentary. It's a $900 value. And the link is ekwa.com/MSM for marketing strategy meeting -SFD for stress-free dentistry. Equa.com/MSM-SFD. We'll put the link in our show notes as well. Book this meeting. It's a 1-hour meeting. We spend several hours going through everything prior to the meeting. So we look at how are you doing on SEO, how are you doing on landing pages, and we'll give you a report card. And we'll give you a plan, like literally a plan to get to the top 5% of Google, to really improve your landing pages. So now you have the report card and a plan. Then what you do with it is up to you. But at least it's a good starting point, right? Because if you don't know where you are and where you want to get to and how to get there, doesn't matter how hard you try, you're going to go around in circles. So figure out where you are, figure out where you want to be and how to get there, and then decide what you want to do with that information. But knowledge is power. So get that very specific insights. We just went through the common issues and the common challenges and the common strategies, but every practice is unique. So I would strongly book that meeting, equa.com/MSM-SFD.
All right, my friend, Naren Arulrajah, thanks so much again for joining us. Thanks again for listening to the Stress Free Dentist podcast. And don't hesitate to get in touch with me at info@thestressfreedentist.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Until the next episode, I'm Dr. Eric Block, the Stress Free Dentist.